Good morning, everybody. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I brought some friends along for breakfast. It's just a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right, everybody? So anyway, coffee's ready, pans are heating up. What we're doing today is we're feeding 5, so I've got a little bit of stuff done in advance. I already have my rice cooked. I set that this morning when this is a nice rice blend, Medley, that you can buy. Only problem with this stuff is they say do 1 3/4 cups of water for 1 cup of rice, and they tell you to cook it for 45 minutes. So in the rice cooker, I just know I gotta do it 3 to 1 if it's gonna cook for 45 minutes. That's staying nice and hot. I've got bacon already cooked off. I've got 1 giant sausage patty for mankind going here. So that's gonna be the first thing we wanna get going. Instead of making little rounds, just cook the whole thing and cut it up. Make life easy, right? Some of my stuff is already cut up as usual, but anyway, we're gonna get started. So pans are getting hot, and in the meantime, I have some cooked off butternut squash from last night. We just blanched some off, so that's all cut thin. That's fully cooked though, so that's gonna cook quick. It's not gonna take very long. And I got my brand spanking new bottle of extra virgin olive oil from guess who? Good old Costco. So we're gonna get things going here real quick. I got this giant skillet, which I've been dying to use. And you notice that I have the sausage on parchment paper, so my delivery system doesn't have to be too awkward. I just slide that in there, lay that on, and it's off to the races. Now, vegetables. Cauliflower is cut really thin, so it's going to go in first. You're going to take the most amount of time to cook, so that's just going to go right on in. Some of it does look like rice, which is where I get it, but I just cut it thin and eat the whole thing. A little bit of salt, and off we go. I'm going to have Jenna start slicing up some mushrooms, so what I want her to do is just cut it in half. And don't go this fast unless you want to show off. But we need the right amount of mushrooms, and all of them, there's basically 2 per person. Over there we have Mike and Chris, part of my staff, my ever-loving staff. And they're joining us for breakfast today because, no, we're not having mimosas. Maybe later, but
so
today this is about getting your day going and keeping it going all day long with good, healthy food that will keep you going for the duration. That's why the whole grains, that's why the fresh vegetables. No sugar, no dairy, no gluten in any of this stuff. So, it's off to a good start. And then everything goes in this skillet. This is my vegetable skillet. Everything goes in this skillet in the reverse order of how long it takes to cook. So you can see I already got some onions, peppers, and a little bit of zucchini that was left over from yesterday too. Ready to go. Got about 10 egg crack. We're going to do cheesy scrambled eggs today because that's the easiest way to make eggs for a lot of people. Rather than try to do over easy, over medium, and then think, oh, how do you like yours? Oh, I want mine poached. Okay, you're not going to get them that way, so try again later. These eggs are kind of wet. Sorry, I'm having bad flashbacks from my younger days as a chef in the business. Okay, those are off to a good start. So our sausage is going to take the longest to cook, as it is fairly thick. And of course that cooking time is based on thickness, so I'm just going to smash that down a little bit more, try to speed that up. The thinner I can make it, the quicker it can cook. So that actually calls for a little hand washing because it's touching the raw protein. Okay, so now, and we always keep, I have about a half a dozen of these bench scrapers at home, then I can use them for I often will use 2 or 3 for a cooking session, just because of the different things that come in contact with, or if there's more than one cook in the house. There we go. So now, salt, turmeric, of course. Those of you regular watchers, you know that we got to get enough for 5 people in there. So there we go. And then cracked black pepper. The butternut squash is cooked, so all I'm going to do is heat it up in here. It's going to go in at the end, and it's going to go in with the baby kale that we're going to cook off for everybody today. So, which means, get my tools lined up here, get that in there, get that going. I'm just going to get those vegetables softened up. It's time to turn this over, so now we're going to cheat just a little bit, cut it in half, make it easier to turn over. This will be my egg pan too. So as soon as this comes out, the eggs will go in. So what I've got is I've got 2 eggs per person. And a nice little addition to that too is this is goat Gouda cheese. I do get it at Whole Foods. I do like it. Like I always say, I wish I had $5 for every time I said Whole Foods to the public and $10 for Costco. It would just be a walking billboard. Some Tabasco, some salt, and then I'm going to beat that up with my fork. I don't want to really whip it up too much. I want to get it all broken up, but I don't want to over whip it. That's one of the things that will help keep the eggs a little fluffier. If you don't beat the living daylights out of it or run it through a sieve or anything like that. So I'm just looking to see small bits of albumin in there, small parts of white, and that's good to go. And the cheese will go right on in there. One thing my team here doesn't know is that they have to help me clean the kitchen after we eat.
Aww.
They just found that out. So.
One assumed.
What? I'm leaving now? Oh, I gotta go see a man about a dog. All right. Things are doing fine. I'm gonna crank you up. That turmeric loves to drink up a little bit of the oil, so I'm gonna splash a little bit more on there. And everything's starting to soften up a little bit. So Jenna, just pick up the whole cutting board, if you would, and get all those mushrooms. We're going to put them right on top. And just let that sit together for a little bit. Sausage is about 3/4 of the way cooked. And of course that means it's time to straighten up a little bit. So let me put a few things away. Here's the eggs, my veggies for tomorrow. Good. And a little dishwasher time too. To waste any time. There's always something you can be doing while the cooking is going on, so get it done. Whether it's straightening up or whatever, remember the idea is to get you out the door healthy, satisfied with food, plenty of energy to burn, and not a filthy kitchen to leave for somebody else. Okay? Which is sometimes easier said than done. Okay. So now we got plenty of veggies. And we're eating the rainbow, as always. That's the goal. And that rainbow should be different every day, or a little bit. Now, I'll eat the same meal about 2 or 3 days in a row. So I'm whittling down on some cauliflower, or whittling down a zucchini, or something like that. Or going through some a pound of breakfast sausage, or whatever it is. But I'm going to change that no less than more or less 3 days a week. It's always going to change. I'm always going to buy new veggies when I go to the store. I'm going to have some broccoli one day. I'm going to get some asparagus one day. I'm going to get some yellow squash one day. I'm going to have some green beans one day. This is the easiest way to get them cooked fast. And of course, this is taking a little longer simply because we're cooking more. And that's all there is to it. So everything's going along fine. As soon as those mushrooms start to soften up, we're money. My sausage is just starting to firm up. It just needs about another moment to be cooked. And we've got a platter already started with some bacon on it. Because remember, everything's better with bacon. That's the first rule of cooking. Or at least the first fun rule. There we go. Everything's starting to soften up. So these are going to go in. And that's going to start to heat up. I could even chop the bacon and throw it in there too if I was feeling frisky, but since we're cooking for 5, we're keeping things a little bit more separate today. And the last thing we'll want to do is add the thing. So, okay, sausage is getting nice and firm. That's what I'm looking for. We've got beautiful dark brown on there. Get over there, you. And firm to the touch. That's medium well. That means there's no pink left. And that's what we're looking for. We just don't want to see any pink at all in the sausage, and that would go for any sausage or ground meat whatsoever. So I can let that go for a few more seconds, which gives me an opportunity to put the finishing touch in, which is, this is baby kale. Delicious, already washed, easier to eat than full-grown kale, very user-friendly, already fork-sized. It's an extremely convenient leafy green. So pretty much when I buy my greens at the store, I just buy whatever there is. It's not always the same. It's that little landscape tends to change from week to week. Of course, depending on availability, where I'm shopping. There might be some power greens one week, maybe a baby kale and baby spinach medley the next week. But I'll just go with the flow with that. I'll get whatever's good to go. And now that's just going to wilt down. I'm going to have Jenna chop those up into about 5 or 6 different pieces, so we can all have some. I've got a little overflow oil stash in my fridge, so I'm just going to pour off that. We're going to have some of that nice pork flavor in our scrambled eggs today. Just not a lot. I don't want to overdo it. Be creative. And there goes the goat butter. I've got a little bit of oil in there. Just finishing up my wilt here. And we're just going to be putting pretty much everything on the platter today. So everybody can help themselves and so you can see the finished product. And the nice thing about this too is we don't eat it all. I can have it again. It's a lot of vegetables, but it doesn't take a long time to make. And this will reheat nicely. So that's one thing I'm not really worried about. So I'm just going to turn that down. Finished butter in the pan. Mike over there is complaining that he came hungry, which he never does because he usually makes it. These people always make themselves a healthy breakfast. So they're all chomping at the bit because, as far as we're concerned, we're almost to lunch.
We're getting hangry.
Yeah, we're going to get hungry.
Yes.
Pretty soon my staff's going to be yelling at me. And then they'll be hell to pay. All right. And by special request, we're just going to keep the eggs on a separate plate. And we're going to move this over here. And with the eggs cooking, we can just serve the rice right out of its little container. It may not be beautiful, but it is tasty. So while those eggs are starting to firm up, we'll get some tools. I think these came with like some Cuisinart or something like that. They're really cute. They're probably cost about 3 cents to make, but they actually work and they're dishwasher safe. And now just scrambling up our eggs. Yes, I have done this for 1,500 people. No, I don't want to do it again. We used to, when we did scrambled eggs for the hundreds, we'd always put some cream cheese in them. And that would keep them moist on the buffet. And of course, cook them in lots of butter in a very large skillet. I'm pretty much like any chef that's been around the horn, had a lot of experiences, cooked for lots of people, very small groups of people, all points in between. That's part of the experience you're going to have if you are in the food service industry. That's the beautiful thing about the food service industry. You're going to have amazing experiences. You're going to have some nightmares. But it's an ever-changing landscape. And that's part of the draw, part of the thrill. But it is hard work. And I have the scars to prove it. So all I'd like to do with my scrambled eggs is take the shine off of them. That's what I'm looking for. You can see some of it starting to lose its shine. I don't want to scramble them to death and get them overcooked. So as you can see, they're just starting to lose their shine. And that's what I'm looking for. That way they're still soft and still moist. And nothing I hate more than overcooked scrambled eggs. Well, there's a few things, but the list is pretty short. There they are, as they're coming out. And if I was really cool, I'd probably have some parsley to chop and sprinkle over the top, but I'm just not that cool, so I'm not going to worry about it. And there's our breakfast today. Got a nice vegetable medley that we always do. This time bacon and sausage. Our nice rice medley that we got. I literally got that at Safeway. And of course the soft scrambled eggs with the goat gouda. Everybody, happy birthday to you too. It is all about celebration today, and it's great to always be around friends when you're eating. One of the healthiest things you can do is eat with friends and family. I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.